I did. But obviously, last game of 2022, we came back the night of the 26th, sent the guys home Friday morning. We stayed in St. Louis because due to weather, and then came back the night of the 26th. And 2 practices yesterday, and then a couple of shooting and a dummy session this morning that will go here this afternoon as we get ready for Reggie Theus and Bethune-Cookman. So Reggie's a dear friend, known Reggie a long time, recruited his son at South Carolina. Obviously one of the great players in the history of our game. Very good coach. I played his team twice when I was at Stephen F. When he was at Northridge. So familiar with his teams, and it'd be good to catch up and see him again. Obviously a lot to talk about in terms of with our group after the other night. You know, there's a million factors of which I won't get into, hardly a lot of them. We haven't been very good in that game for a while, but you know, we've addressed some things from an analytics standpoint, a numerical standpoint that we have to address. And you look at our numbers on the defensive side, and they're fantastic. I mean, we're in an elite status in terms of what we're doing in the half court. We have one area where we're really bad, and that's transition D. And that is literally coming from what we do on the offensive side. And we can't turn the ball over like we've been turning it over. Those are mostly pick sixes. It's really hard to guard layups and open threes. And those stem from not running offense, and then you put quick shots. We're taking a lot of shots, 18, 19, 20 on the shot clock that are contested. Instead of just being patient enough to allow the defense to make a mistake. So we've spent some time. We'll have to tweak a thing or two to try to clean some of those areas up. I feel like our defense can be as good as it's ever been, or better. The numbers don't lie in that area. We've been excellent on synergy in most every area other than transition D. And then you know, offensively, it's just got to be a consistent process to make good plays, make good passes, be simple, be ball tough, move the ball, share it. Our assist numbers have been low, and yet, you know, we're doing some things exceptionally well. You know, I think we're 3rd in effective field goal rate. I think we're 3rd or 4th in free throw rate. You know, things that we're 2nd or 3rd in offensive rebounding. All the things that you should do to to be a good offense. And yeah, we're not doing that. Because of our turnover rate has been astonishing. So time to, not that we haven't tried to address it, but really make it a point of concentration for everybody. And mistakes are to the point now where guys may have to go to the bench and learn from mistakes that way. So, but it's you know, that one's biased. It's a blip. It's a bad game. Everybody has them. I won't show our team 1 second of it, but we will talk about the, like I said, more of the 12-game numbers, you know, and the analytics piece that comes out of that we got to get cleaned up here.
Coach, since Texas three-point.
Doug.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. You said tweaks. Does it feel truly like adjustments or tweaks, or is there any kind of more wholesale
adjustments and tweaks?
Yeah.
Adjustments and tweaks. I mean, you're not going to, you know, you don't And I don't even know how to define what it, I mean, you put, we're gonna start putting guys in actions that we feel like are, we've eliminated some things, we've doubled down on some others, so I guess that's tweaks.
Coach, your three-point shooting in the last 3 games has kind of fallen off too since Texas. Is that quality of shot? Is that not the right guys taking shots? What would you attribute it to?
Well, one, we haven't had RJ. RJ hasn't been, RJ's got a sore shoulder. That affects us shooting the basketball. Sky hadn't shot the ball very well. But again, offense is not, it's not about one person making or missing shots. It's about ball movement, and offense is a rhythm. And you've got to know when you're, hey, this guy's going to make the extra pass and give me a shot. We're not doing that. And those are things that we have to get back to. You know, shooting is the confidence of knowing I'm going to receive the pass and we're going to put it in our shooting pocket. And you know, it's based on the ball having energy and the ball moving, and then the ball seems to go in. And those are things that we're sure not doing. And we're taking so many early shot clock, tough, contested threes that, you know, it's creating the problem at the other end. It's the, you know, we took 31 the other night, and I don't mind the fact we took 31 threes. It's how those threes get taken that I'm the most concerned about.
What goes into that self-evaluation process? I know every year you have this break in the schedule to maybe do that, but as a staff, how do you look at that and work on that?
Well, we look at analytics all the time. We look at trends. Probably outside the first 5 games. The first 5 games, there's not enough data, enough information. I mean, you know, we got 8 or 9 new guys now, and we knew there was going to be speed bumps. We knew there was going to have to be some adjustments along the way. You know, until you throw guys out there, you don't know what they can and can't do, and you know, it's you know, we've got what we call a quick series that we run in transition that we've run since before time. We've scored 7 points out of it all year, and so it doesn't work with this group. It's not something that we're good at. And it's no different than we did some of the same things last year. You know, all of a sudden we figured out, okay, here's, you know, Alfonso Plummer was not going to keep shooting him off the side of the backboard like he did at Marquette and play 4 minutes. We had to get him shots, so we had to figure out how to utilize him in different ways. And it's the same thing here. That's portal alignment and getting to know your guys, really. And so, you know, now we've got pretty good, you know, we've won some games, you know, over some top 10 opponents that led you to believe we could do some things. And we've done some things really well, really well. But again, now we've got enough of the sample size. We've got to get dialed in here on certain things.
I know you've coached at a lot of different levels. When did you kind of start embracing that kind of analytics approach, and you guys kind of started doing that, diving into that as a coach?
No, I think we got into it. I got into it a little bit as an assistant. You know, today I have done literally nothing. I watched an old Kansas State game, and pulled up our analytics from that season. It was our last season there, and we had Jacob Pullen at the point and Curtis Kelly at the 5, and Curtis was kind of an undersized guy, and how that and start pulling up our analytics, and you compare and you look at different things, and so I started as an assistant, became very prominent at SFA, something we factored in a lot in terms of both sides of the court. And like I said, I feel great defensively. This team's going to be great defensively, and the half-court stuff's pretty good, and now it's just a matter of, okay, you know, we've got a really good sample size on Matt Meyer. We've got a pretty good sample size on Dane and every one of our guys individually. So we've been through synergy here over the break, breaking down every single one of our guys and their positives and their negatives and what we got to get better at, and And we do that every time this year because we get practice time at Christmas break, you know, with no academics. So, I've done it for a long time. Believe in it.
The desire to get quality shots and get the defense to make a mistake. Is there a trade-off for you at all in tempo or number of possessions you want, or how fast you want to run with this team?
I always want to play with pace. I think that's really important. You know, I think there's opportunities to again score after 7 seconds. That's one of the base things we're at. I think the one thing we're trying to evaluate in that time frame is how often are we turning it over. And you look at our offensive numbers, and I think we're 44, and we've slid. I think we've been as high as 18, and we've slid there. And the big decline is in our transition. And we're just an alarmingly high turnover rate in transition. So we've got to find the right balance there. And again, that's an area we've tweaked a lot.
What's kind of been the key for the last 4 games for Matthew Mayer to get him going and have a good stretch of games here?
Yeah, he's taking good shots. And again, Matt has worked himself into really good shape. And, you know, that was evident by he couldn't play, wasn't sure he could ever play 20 minutes, 5 games or 6 games into the season. Now he's in a position where he can play 30 and he feels great. He's healthy. You know, we've seen what kind of shot-making ability that he has. And he's a guy that we have to run offense to and through. We have to be able to get it to him. And he has to be able to move it. Both he and Terrence have proven they can be very, very good passers as well. But putting those guys in actions is something that we've got to do a much better job of.
Coach, do you remember Marcus Garrett when he was in the state of Illinois at Hillcrest and in Wabash Valley? And what kind of player is he?
Good. I mean, and you know, they're a team that played a lot of road games. Mark's a good player. You know, he's talented. They've got what I think are really, really good guards. They've got a young man who was a top 50 guard at one point in high school rankings, if you pay attention to those, which I don't. But he's talented. So, but yeah, he's a good player. We respect everybody we play.
Offensively in the half court, is there anything off the ball that isn't happening that can make things easier for those?
Screening, setting them up, moving, cutting, and we're a really good cutting team. Numbers show that. I mean, you've got to be able to move the basketball. The ball has to have energy. You watch at any level, the EuroLeague, the NBA, high school, when the ball moves and has energy, and energy meaning movement, the ball doesn't stick. You know, it always finds a way to go in. And you know, we had 19 offensive rebounds the other night. Huge deal. That's who we are. We have that taken care of. We're up there in free throw attempts. That's great. But it can't be just one pass and then everybody stand. And when we've been really good in our 5-out stuff, it's been ball movement, it's been player movement, and right now we're not doing that. And it's led to turnovers, it's led to ball not ever getting to a third side. You know, and again, those are things that we've got to become much better at.
It's just with kind of a tweak in the system and a tweak in the personnel this year, how much does that just kind of inherently change the learning curve for offense, especially in the half court?
Oh, the curve hasn't changed. I think that we've got 8 new guys, 9 new guys now. Probably be at some point here in the next few weeks another one with Luke coming back. There's been a lot of, you know, kind of hit and miss with this group, just because of the constant new faces, and then you know, 5 freshmen and 6 with Zach joining us, and you know, they're trying to figure their way as well. But again, I thought you know, we've had some unbelievable moments on the offensive side where we've had just great ball movement, and yet it hasn't been consistent enough. So we've got to be able to define consistency.
Back to Derek.
I know you still haven't seen a whole lot of Zach, but would you feel comfortable putting him in the game, and what would be that indicator in terms of when you'd feel like he could go out there and help you?
Yeah, I'm going to be fair to Zach. You know, he's a really good player, and he's been in. This will be his 2, 1, 3. This will be his 4th practice. So I want to be fair to him. I don't want him to get in a situation where he's out there and he doesn't know what we're doing, or he's not comfortable, or he's not lost. He's surprisingly in really good shape, or in decent shape for short periods of time. Again, he measured 7'1", 220 in shoes, but he's not taking the physical beating that you take in a game to have that point in conditioning where he's going to play long periods of time. So I've loved what he's done in practice. I've been it's exciting to see. But again, it's been in small doses and increments, so I'm going to be really fair to him to make sure he's in a position to go be successful, not just flounder out there because he doesn't know, you know, what we're doing. And on the other side of that, we got to be fair to his teammates if he's, you know, picking up defensive concepts that he's not up to speed with. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. But he studies, he's watched a ton of film, and he's working extremely hard.
Okay. This will be the last one.
Coach, I know you're not going to give up on the 4 and 5 out offensive stuff, but is there a point where Dane maybe needs to play a few more minutes, and if is he ready for that to take a next step and play some more minutes? And would you feel comfortable with Coleman Hawkins in the post?
Yeah, I mean, it's not about, like I said, it's not about what we're trying to clean up, and will determine a lot is our turnovers. Okay, and again, one of the things that we've got to clean up is not as much as who's on the floor; it's why they're turning it over. Coleman's got a high turnover rate. Excuse me. Dane's turned it over a lot, and in his minutes, and it's why they're turning it over. That's what we've got to get cleaned up. And Dane's extremely efficient on the offensive end, but you know, the game is really simple. I mean, you got to be able to shoot that thing towards the rim to have a chance to score. And until we get that simple factor cleaned up, that you can't throw it to the other team and not get shot attempts. You know, it's hard to be an efficient offensive team with whoever you've got on the floor. And we've got guys that are turning it over too much, and it's like I said, it reached up and along with a lot of other factors bit us straight in the butt cheek the other night.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.